While you're distracted with this bullshit of Todge apparently surfing for the first time. By the way, you don't surf like that for the first time. You don't train like that for the first time. It takes about 9 months to get off a softboard. It takes months for you to even be able to pick yourself up on the board and be able to balance. It takes years for you to surf on a hard board. It takes a lot of training. Trust me, I'm Aussie. This is another distraction. Anyone who's promoting this bullshit is just a part of the distraction. And it's been intentionally put out there while Ardern is awarded and protected by the Crown. While I have done a video exposing that the New Zealand former Prime Minister has actually said that New Zealand is colonised by the Crown, which would mean Australia is colonised by the Crown, which would more than likely mean that America is also colonised by the Crown, seeing we are all their subjects and we are under their rule, especially in particular their politicians and this political theatre. So while this happens, you've got the American political theatre coming out with no limitations whatsoever. This is another distraction. Then you have... I couldn't help but laugh.
No. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we? Merry Christmas, everybody. Okay, no.
You've got that idiot. All distractions, all hoo-ha to take you away from what's actually happening. But this is what actually is happening. You had, within hours of Ardern, who's been seen, visiting and stopping by at Black Rock, when she was Prime Minister. You now see, within hours of her being awarded a damehood by the heir, you see Bill Gates and Larry Fink, BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink, with, what's his name? Is his name Keir Starmer? Just another puppet, at 10 Downing Street. Getting ready for some jazz hands, etc., etc. But this is what is actually happening alongside, of course, Ardern being promoted. Quick reminder while we're on the topic of Ardern. Ardern has worked with the royal family and the monarchy for quite a long time. While she was pretty much after her COVID dictatorship legacy was established. She then became a leader. She was a part of Nuts. Well, it's not really Nuts, is it? I mean, Vogue is under the monarchy. Everything is done under the monarchy. Like Vogue, and there are so many other publications that are just literally under instruction. So this is the monarchy's orchestration or their PR comms, especially Kensington Palace. Because everything like this is done through their office anyway, especially when she was still employed as a working royal. Forces for Change, Ardern was a part of it, of course. Then you have, oh wait, I'm going too far. The Live to Lead. Now I know that this documentary by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex was not meant to be, they aren't meant to have this relationship with Ardern, supposedly, where they filmed it with her, and she had this real strong stance when this came out that basically they bought the documentary that was already produced, and she was already a part of it. But I think that was just a protection, so I think that was just a cover, as is mostly everything, considering everything we know now. And I'll show you another thing as well. This is Ardern. She works for Earthshot with Prince William. And then, of course, yesterday But there's many shots of her. It was also with Charles as well. So yeah, she's been a busy girl. Also, her lineage is something quite interesting to look at. There's there's definitely some insights that the public know about regarding Ardern. I mean, from her education and her career, being established as a young world leader, but also you know, in the Freemasonry and pretty much in under the crown from the get-go as a plant. And then there's also the fact that she has descent from the Saxon Earls of Warwick before the conquest. A little interesting seeing, I don't know if you've seen my other work. Well, it's not really my work, it's others' work that I'm putting up, but you know, the lineages of Gates, of Rockefeller, of Rothschild, of all those lineages all fall back to in a way towards black nobility and the Roman Empire. So anything to do with the kind of British Empire usually then is correlated to the Roman one. But I find that interesting that there's always some sort of bloodline connection with these people, with these leaders, and that they're chosen for a reason. And that's why there's many plebs out there like you and me that will never be chosen because we don't have the bloodline for it. So I find that interesting. You can take that or leave it. But I think the main thing as to why I'm doing this video today is because I come across a really interesting article. I might just get it up for you. I think this was, 2023, 17th of April. Thomas, Coghlan of New Zealand Herald actually produced an article about Jacinda Ardern keeping Harry and Meghan messages for a secret for now. So under the Official Information Request Act, the New Zealand Herald requested all communications between 2018 and 2022 from the Office of Duke and Duchess of Sussex to the Office of the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, to be revealed. Now, this is the most interesting thing because the title is saying that they've kept them secret, but that's not true. If you actually read the article, it's the fact that some additional communications haven't been shown, but there have been messages that have been revealed or shown to the Herald, just not all of them. And they're trying to protect that from the secrecy regarding or justifying it with the secrecy of the royal family, which is also interesting, wouldn't you say, if Todge and Nut are not working royals? Let me have a read with you so you can understand. Former Prime Minister has decided to keep her messages with Harry, Meghan and the Duke of Duchess secret, refusing an Official Information Act request to release them. The Herald has appealed that decision to the Ombudsman. But this is what they say. Nearly 3 years of correspondence from 2018 to 2022 was requested by the Herald. Messages between the office of the former Prime Minister and the office of the Duke and Duchess were released. They were released. However, the government acknowledges that there are additional communications between the then Prime Minister Ardern and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex themselves, which it has decided to keep from the public eye. This is a thing. The messages that were released are nowhere to be seen publicly. So I have requested through my social media account for that information, for those messages to be released by the New Zealand Herald under the same Act of Official Information Release Request Act. So I'll show you that afterwards. But this is the thing. There's general protection. Holden said it was not appropriate for the messages to be withheld. There's general protection for communications with the sovereign being kept secret. It's hard to see how that restriction... Sorry, I just have to make sure. Restriction which itself is unjustified could apply to these communications. We have no idea if the Duke and Duchess have lobbied our Prime Minister for access, immigration status, or anything else. They shouldn't have special protection just because they're members of the royal family. However, the monarchy is a highly secretive institution, and unlike every other part of a democratic government, does its best to escape scrutiny. This is, by the way, while the Prime Minister at the time was Chris Hipkins. Chris Hipkins is the guy from my last video who has actually voiced that New Zealand is colonised by the Crown. So... he's aware that the monarchy is a part of its governance, the country's governance. Of course, I'm just putting this through there because if this article gets taken down, then you know what it was about. I guess I'm asking at this point for anyone comfortable emailing New Zealand Herald or contacting them directly and under the Official Information Request Act, please do request this information to be public of these messages that they supposedly have after requesting for them to be released, because this should be made public. Especially after by law you've requested it and they have been released. So I think that's where I'm at, where I'm actually asking for your assistance. I am not personally comfortable directly contacting mainstream media with my contact details to have this information put out there. I have put up this post asking for the information to be released, but that's as far as I can go. So I ask that you help me in getting this information out there. I think that's about it. I mean, I'm just giving you pretty much updates as to what's been happening. It's all very, very interesting, all these distractions, but all these important things happening at the same time that are showing you exactly what Chris Hipkins said, that the Crown governs us. So it's interesting. It's interesting, the 10 Downing Street visits. It's interesting, all of this coming out to play. But I find it even more interesting that there's been messages that are not publicly released and that should be, to distinguish what sort of relationship Ardern has with the monarchy and with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, especially when they're using those titles and they're using their office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, meaning, was that Kensington Palace? Is that Kensington Palace? Have they been working royals this whole time? Because here you are being protected under the monarchy rather than under two individuals with Archwell in America, in Montecito, with organic lemons and strawberries, and playing mean games of Scrabble and juggling balls, whether it was his own or somebody else's. So I think we have the right to know. So I ask for your help. Thanks, guys. Shit, I know I forgot something. Before I go, this is one thing that I've forgotten to add, which I'm so sorry, I can't remember who suggested this, but then Akarok from social media, from Twitter, sent me the link for this article. I apologize, I've forgotten on YouTube who asked me, who said, have I seen the article? I'm so sorry, but thank you anyway. UK Labour are now becoming a globalist political party. If you're not seeing these patterns laid out before you, I mean, they're just having, at the same time as having chats with, can you believe this? At the same time of having chats with BlackRock and Gates, you know, Americans, they're now getting behind Kamala Harris for this political puppet show. And it's interesting that now that we've seen the articles of the sons of the sovereign now becoming successful global princes and dukes, moving over to America and globalizing, not to mention the planted article of Nut and Todge having a place in Portugal. Whether true or not, it seems to be like there's a stance, there's a message of this whole move of being globally present and represented. Alongside now you have the political party and the UK Parliament now moving towards globalism. Very, very interesting. This guy just looks like a massive poo. The British are coming. Oh, well, they're already there, aren't they? Through Obama's White House. Yeah. Anyway. Interesting. Interesting how that's playing out as well. So I just thought to add that in before I go. But please, please send your, if you feel comfortable, please help me out by contacting the UK Herald and keeping me updated with this stuff. You can always send, if you're wanting to send me an email, please send it through to my agent, Amalia, to help me out, because I really just don't feel comfortable with personal messages at this time, and being completely bombarded with them. So that would be awesome if you can help out. Thanks, guys.